Jonah, your mystery man? His name's Frank Castle. He's a self-styled vigilante, calls himself the Punisher. He's wanted by the FBI, and even the CIA want him for questioning in the disappearances of various crime figures.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week of March 20th, 2022. This is episode 169. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Muppets, Pixar, 20th Century, the parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. Well, it happened again. I've been neglecting the surveys. I got to find out a better way to do it, but I'll get it out. I will get them out. And also apologize for last week's episode. I had some technical issues with the microphone. I had the microphone plugged in, but didn't realize that the computer was using its own microphone over my podcasting microphone. So I apologize for that. But you know, the computers do what computers do. And on that bombshell, we'll be back after these messages from our friends and sponsors.
Hey Matthew, Jim Hill here. I do the Marvelous Disney podcast with Aaron Adams over at the Jim Hill Media Podcast Network. I know, very humble sounding name. Anyway, I really enjoy what you've been doing over on the Disney Marvels podcast, but as you probably already noticed, the Marvel Us Disney and the Disney Marvels podcast names are very, very similar, which is why I imagine I keep getting mail for you. That's actually why I'm calling today. I wanted to know what you'd like me to do with all of these Yankee Candle catalogs, so please get back to me. And keep up the great work with the Disney Marvels podcast.
Thank you for those kind words, Jim. And make sure to check out Jim Hill on the Marvel Us Disney podcast with Aaron Adams to find out all sorts of wonderful things about Disney, well, Marvel, particularly what's going on with them. And Jim, those catalogs, I'll make sure to give you the forwarding address. And unless if you want to order something, go right ahead. And once again, make sure to check out Marvel Us Disney with Jim Hill and Aaron Adams, wherever you find or listen to your podcasts. And now, on with the show. Disney has gifted us with many things to talk about. As I've always said, the wonderful thing about having a show about Disney is that there's always something to talk about, either stuff from the past, the huge library of movies and events and history that's happened with Disney or around Disney. And then there's the news that the company will give us one way or another to talk about and fill our time with discussion. This week just happens to be one of them when we have not one, but two possible trailers to talk about. We'll see how much time we have going here, and some news and some listener stuff to discuss. So naturally, I have to bring in someone that knows more about knowing stuff than I do, and this would be our friend Isaac. Isaac, welcome back. How are you doing?
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be back on your podcast as always. Thank you, man.
Thank you. And it's the honor's all ours. The fans keep asking for you back.
I have no clue, but I am back by popular request. So
yeah. So first off, as we were discussing in the pre-gaming session, got a message through Twitter from a Molly Alford, and just so that way she knows that we are talking specifically about her, it's Molly Alford, 4848 on Twitter. So thank you for reaching out to us. She wanted us to discuss the redesign, yet again, of the new Punisher symbol and also kind of look. So I know we both kind of looked into it a little bit. What is your take on this new redesign?
Yeah, so for the people out there, they're asking for like Matt said, the reason the reason for the change, Marvel basically is going to change the Punisher's classic skull logo that's been around since I believe the 70s, or maybe even longer than 50s, 60s, 70s, and instead for the new, I guess for which I believe is a brand new reboot for the Punisher at the moment, or which I think will probably be a new one, is that instead of the skull, Castle's going to be donning basically the Oni, which now the Oni is a Japanese mythical demon monster that's going to be placed on his chest, because in this story, particularly he ends up joining the Hand, which basically is Daredevil's pretty much arch cult that he fights against. If anybody remembers, the Hand has been pretty much happening in the Netflix series, both seasons 1 and 2, and in Defenders. So people are pretty reintroduced. So that's one of the new reasons where Castle's taken on this new look, but as well on top of that, and the other reason for that change is usually that the skull has been used for law enforcement. And if anybody has been aware through 2020 with the recent events of George Floyd and police, I understand of police issues and brutality, normally, on a certain policemen, they tend to adopt that as their symbol for most police and cops. So it seems to be maybe a Marvel. So it seems based on that, it seems like it was Marvel's move to kind of adopt a brand new symbol for the Punisher to kind of be used moving forward. Now, I'm not too sure. I don't know if this is permanent. It sounds like this might be a true permanent change to kind of separate from the use of the skull. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of tough because you it's kind of like that symbol's kind of out there. So I mean, basically to me, it almost kind of sounds like they're just kind of Marvel's almost kind of forfeiting that symbol to them, to certain parts of law enforcement, and trying to separate that character to doing something else. Because if anybody remembers what the Punisher was that kind of character that would pretty much have to corrupt people, bad to corrupt people, So I think they just kind of want to separate that symbol away from what the Punisher stands for, and not let it kind of be used for what it's used at the moment.
Yeah, also one of the other things, I think this was really what kind of maybe drove the nail into the coffin for that symbol. So you had the instance that you were talking about, and then on top of that, supposedly there were people brandishing it during the Capitol attacks on January 6th. So you have multiple instances of the symbol. The symbol has been around for such a long time, and it's become such a iconic but well distributed symbol. that it's kind of gone out of hand and completely out of Marvel's control of where it is. You see it on things everywhere, left and right. It is probably next to like Captain America's shield, Spider-Man's symbol, even probably more than Spider-Man's symbol. The skull for the Punisher. It's become such a used and iconic symbol. Also, the image of the Punisher, as far as what the Punisher kind of has become, as far as the mental image that people have towards the Punisher, guns blazing, just running over bad guys, just going in again, guns blazing, blowing things up left and right. In this day and age, with everything that's going on in the world, that Marvel feels this is not to keep this character around. We do not want to embellish that image at this time. It is not culturally sensitive. It's not what we want to be remembered for. Or known for. So he's joining a ninja group. He's not using guns. He's using swords and stuff more often. He's adopted more of the hand type of look. And
he's more ninja than guns.
He kind of almost makes me think of Shredder from Ninja Turtles. that kind of, he got all the ninjas behind him, but you could tell he's like a leader.
Mm-hmm.
He's not he's not one of the regular ninjas. There's something a little extra about him. Mm-hmm. So the skull is worked into the symbol, but there's more to it than just the plain skull, which has been evolving since the day the character was created.
Yeah.
Between the TV shows, the movies, animated series, and the series in the comic books, it's evolved and evolved and evolved again. And I don't think it may be a permanent change, but it's not the final iteration. It will change again, and it will change again over time, just like any character in a comic book series. All permanent change is temporary.
Yes.
So, will we ever see the true skull of the Punisher again, and the Punisher brandishing his machine guns and rocket launchers? I don't know. I can't answer that. But will this be the definitive end of it? No. This too shall change, and it will change in some form or fashion.
Yes.
So, Molly, thank you for sending that on. And as far as how do I feel towards it, I'm not a huge Punisher fan. Mm-hmm. He's not high up on my Marvel character list. So I personally, I think it looks a little funky, but it is what it is. I'm not losing sleep over it.
No, I mean it's a cool design. It's a cool design. Like you do keep some aspects of his original skull design, but then you kind of work in the demon horns, and the teeth are a little bit long. You add tusk to the bottom of it though. But yeah, I mean, is new change, new logo, new look. We'll see what happens with the new run of Punisher.
Yeah, just my honest take on it. If you're a huge Punisher fan, wait to see how this plays out. Because remember, at one point, Thor was a girl.
Very true.
These things change, sometimes faster than we thought they would. So, so that is that one. Speaking of Punisher, there's rumors out there of Daredevil series getting some sort of relaunch, reboot. I know we were talking a little bit about that. I Haven't found out too much other than whispers of that this is happening, because obviously we've seen Charlie Cox in Spider-Man Far No Way Home,
Mm-hmm.
which is now on digital, and in April will be coming to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And then we also have D'Onofrio in the Hawkeye series. So
Yeah.
obviously these characters now exist. The telling sign though is that when the Netflix series finally hit Disney Plus, they are in their own little category as the Defender series, and they are not added into the MCU timeline. So,
well, I guess not proper, right? Because
right, just like the X-Men movies.
Yeah, they're there, but they're not properly. They've not been mentioned. Because I know, remember Vincent Trio was interviewed on saying that is this a new version of Kingpin that you're playing for the Hawkeye series? And he came out and said, no, it's the exact same version that you're seeing in Netflix. The version you got from Netflix is the version that you got it in the MCU, you're getting right now in the MCU currently. So now he could have just been saying that maybe he was just kind of portraying those same characters, the same film look, but with this news of a potential new Daredevil series with Charlie Cox coming back and Vincent D'Onofrio, it does kind of make sense that maybe the Netflix series may start to be a little bit more canon leading into the MCU proper, like as you said. And if you remember, the Echo series is coming out, announced Echo. And if anybody does follow the comics, Echo's love interest right now is Daredevil, Matt Murdock. So we'll see what happens with that in the next couple.
Yeah,
probably next couple of years right now, because they still kind of have a set order of things. So we may not get a Daredevil. I mean, I think they might go into production pretty soon, but we may not see it for maybe a year or so.
Yeah,
that's a shift on the board.
We probably still got a little time on that. They haven't announced if any of the other cast is coming back. Like I said, they barely have announced this show at all.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more Daredevil that they can tell and work with. I'm still hoping that Charlie Cox shows up in She-Hulk. I just, even just a brief cameo, just like in Spider-Man, he's just, I'm a really good lawyer, and just walks off or something like that.
Yeah.
That I think collective minds will just explode at that point. There he is again.
Matt Murdock, man.
Marvel Law and Order tonight on Disney Plus.
I'm just kind of happy that we're gonna get more Daredevil, and then we're gonna at least get a continuation. I don't know if we're continuing from the previous Netflix story, but we're gonna hopefully get a continuation of some form, kind of moving forward, which I'm excited for. I think Daredevil is such a really cool character and really should have the opportunity to be integrated with the MCU and kind of mix it up with the other characters. I'm just kind of sad that I wish he was introduced earlier to really mix it up with, say, like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers and the last iteration of the Avengers. But I think it's still.
I mean, the old guard's going out. You bring in the new guard. I am happy for Charlie Cox to be brought back. The term I've seen thrown around is a soft reboot, and what does that mean exactly? Who knows? But I could see it also going down this way, that they bring the series back. They don't reintroduce, how he got his powers and him learning everything all over again. He walks on as the Daredevil we know, and moves forward from there. but not fully acknowledging the events of the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So you could do something like that, or
Yeah.
you could even do, and Doctor Who did this kind of. The past happened, and just leave it at that, and just keep moving forward, and then occasionally going back, bringing in select things that they want to be part of the canon going forward. Okay, we'll bring in. Oh, let's mention this now. Okay, we'll bring in this thing, and cherry pick from the past, couple seasons.
Kind of like what they are doing right now with Star Wars.
Kind of like what they're doing with Star Wars. Yep. Kind of like what they're doing with Star Wars, where they're moving forward in here and there, which I think could bring us to our next little segue, Kenobi. Why don't we talk a little Kenobi?
Yeah, Kenobi.
Now, I wish Matt was here to discuss this, because we continue the conversation that we had regarding the end of Boba Fett and what we thought was going to happen. And here we are, Isaac, someone who is not familiar with Rebels, not familiar with the Clone Wars TV series, and hasn't, I'm going to assume you have not played Jedi Fallen Order video game. Okay.
No, I'm not.
So, what was your take on the trailer? Just the overview and some of the characters that they showed.
From what I got from the trailer wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad trailer. Really well done. I just feel like Ewan McGregor hasn't aged a minute.
Well, you see him in his bit commercial, the crypto commercial. He looks like he did whatever he filmed the first 3 the prequels.
He hasn't. Look, we didn't see anything. We haven't seen any Hayden Christian. I think another person that popped up that was really shocked was Joel. I want to say Joel Egerton from the first one.
Yes,
he made an appearance in this too, which was very
Uncle Owen.
Yeah, long back. So he's making an appearance on that, which I thought was
just gonna get Adachi to get some power converters.
Yeah. But that being said, I just don't know. Again, the trailer was really well done, but then again, like you said, what we discussed in the previous episodes, it's, again, this is really made for the hardcore Star Wars fan and as of heart, who has kind of followed everything up to this point, in terms of watching Rebels, in terms of watching the episodes, in terms of watching and everything in between, the Clone Wars back in the day, because again, all that is canon leading up to this moment of where Obi-Wan Kenobi's been doing for the last couple of years. So, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. That's all.
Yeah. See, and this is kind of the unfortunate part, and like we were discussing, that they are bringing in the expanded universe of the animated series into the live action stuff, which for people who watch those or familiar with them is wonderful. But if you're not as familiar with them, I wonder how they are going to introduce these characters in a way that is organic, and the people that are familiar with them will learn to get excited about them, and the people that already know who they aren't bored with being reintroduced to these characters. 3 characters that they are bringing in so far. One's called the Grand Inquisitor. The other one's the 5th brother, and then the 7th sister. Now they have another Inquisitor that is being introduced in this series. I'm wondering if she will be the catalyst or the bridge to introduce the Inquisitors to the people who are not familiar with the animated series.
Yeah.
In short, these are non-Force sensitive people, so non-Jedi or Sith characters who have been hired by Darth Vader to hunt out the remaining Jedi. So
basically like almost they're basically the Sith hitmen.
Yep. And I wonder, this is again just pure speculation on my part, and I don't know anything, that to keep things the way that it should be, because technically Vader and Kenobi do not meet again until Episode 4, the duel on the Death Star. But we know Hayden Christensen's in this series. Is it going to just be more Hayden Christensen dealing with the Inquisitors, and that's going to be kind of his main focus, Vader bringing in the Inquisitors and hunting down Jedi, and it's going to be Kenobi dealing with the Inquisitors and not having to face Vader himself?
I don't think he's facing Vader. I mean, again, if that is how that is going, to me, it sounds like the best bet that Hayden's return, maybe. Did they say Darth Vader's coming back into the series? Okay.
Because it also, if you pay attention to the very end of the trailer, you hear the breathing, the respirator breathing.
Okay. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Okay. Because my luck would have been, okay, then they probably would bring back. It would make Hayden coming back as Anakin would make sense, because there could have been a time period where maybe Obi-Wan has a goes back to memory lane and goes through like remembrance of when they were on a mission together, and maybe we get one episode of just before we get Darth Vader return, we probably get Anakin and Obi-Wan working together again on maybe a mission between the Clone Wars or something like that, I could see an episode like that being played out.
We could still have that. I think that would be
which would make sense of bringing back Hayden's character versus him in Darth Vader. But
I think those flashbacks would be more welcomed than the flashbacks that we got in Boba Fett.
Yeah. Or do you think Obi-Wan deals with Darth Vader in a dreamlike sequence? Because that could be another weird way of. Or does Obi-Wan not know that Anakin has turned to Darth Vader at this point?
That is honestly a good question. We know
because of
the end of Episode 3. He leaves them on the whatever planet that is. I apologize to all who are screaming the name of it right now.
Well, that man's turning like special.
He's turned to toast.
Yeah,
he's got one limb to walk on.
Yeah.
And that's where he leaves him. Now, they must know something more because of the intent to hide the twins. So the assumption is they know he's still alive and he's going to come looking for them. So the assumption is he does think he's still alive. Does he know that he's Vader? That's a good question, because if he's hanging out on Tatooine this whole time, what does he know? You assume the word of this, guy in a robotic black suit going around, with the Empire and taking things over, gets around pretty quickly. And Obi-Wan Obi-Wan knows of Darth Vader in Episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when does he find that out? My guess would be before the Kenobi series, but
yeah,
I could be mistaken on that.
No, it's a very Well, I guess we're gonna find out how they're gonna. It's coming out in June. That's the best way I can say. It's coming out in June. I don't know how to handle the storyline.
May 25th.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
May 25th?
May 25th. There's a very, very good reason why it's May 25th, Isaac. Tell me why it's May 25th.
It's Star. Again, I'm not the big Star Wars guy. Why did you throw that on me? You know, I'm not the Marvel. Yeah, Star Wars. I'm a little
because I like seeing you squirm. No, it is the 40th anniversary of the release of Star Wars.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, really? That's awesome.
Which became Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh, beautiful. Because I know May the 5th be with you is the big term.
May the 4th be with you. May the
4th.
Revenge of the 5th.
Even I'm messing. Revenge of the 5th. Revenge of the 5th. Oh man.
I didn't come up with these.
Six of the Jedi. I don't know, man.
But but it's the actual anniversary of the movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I thought it was June. See,
so that's actually kind of cool.
Okay.
I was excited for the trailer. The music that they reference from from the older movies and stuff. The Duel of the Fate song, which is one of my favorites, just brings you in. It's that definitive duel music that something is about to go down.
Yeah.
The little image at the end with the Disney Plus sign with the lightsaber coming through. A lot of little hidden things. The Inquisitors. I haven't watched that much of Rebels. I know of the Inquisitors from certain things that I have seen or read. Also, I did play the Jedi Fallen Order game, and they are part of that. So I learned of them through there. There's some bad dudes. You give a guy a lightsaber that has two blades and can spin.
Yeah, that looks really, really uncomfortable even for him. That's the way I view that. It's like, yeah, that looks really too uncomfortable even for that dude.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't. I hope it's good. I don't know that. I really don't know how they're gonna handle the Darth Vader situation. It's gonna be interesting. The writers will have something cleverly wrote on.
Yeah, and Filoni we trust. And it is a one-time series. It's going to be these 6 episodes, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Okay.
It is a one-and-done situation. I think, as I mentioned before, it was originally supposed to be a movie when Solo didn't perform quite what they expected. That's when they kind of put the kibosh on all these Star Wars Stories movies, because there was going to be more of them.
Yeah.
And now with Disney Plus, it's found new life. This is something that Ewan McGregor has been championing for years and years. It has been him personally saying, there's this story to tell that, we want to get this, let's get this done.
I agree.
So, especially if you have the star behind it pushing it, it's, he's doing it from a fan perspective. I think, that could lead to good things. So, fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed. And and then there was one other trailer. You want to tell us about that one? A little more in your wheelhouse.
The next trailer, now something that I feel a lot more comfortable with. So a couple, I believe it was a week ago, they just released Ms. Marvel dropped, and basically now introducing the MCU to Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel. For fans of the comic book, If anybody remembers, she's basically an Inhuman, which basically turns her. So if anybody knows the comic books, the Kree, which were introduced in Captain Marvel, basically are the ones that end up creating like this Titanium bomb, which basically is like a mist that hits people that don't know that have Kree DNA, and they get infused into a cocoon. Eventually, after going through their metamorphosis, they either change into either they stay normal with powers or they change completely differently. Basically titled Inhuman. However, with an MCU, they end up changing up her powers a little bit now, which is a little bit more of the controversial side of it, is the fact that instead of not getting her power through the Kree, that it helps her in Biggin, which there was a lot of stretching situations, she gets her power through what could probably be one of these power bands that allows her to make these constructs, basically almost being kind of MCU's Green Lantern, if you for will. So in the whole situation. That being said, in terms of the trailer, I have to admit I wasn't a big fan of the trailer itself. I was a little. There were some cool elements on it, but I guess I'm not really into the whole teenager angst about the whole situation. Although it is great that superhero is being represented by New Jersey. So with that being said,
filmed in Vancouver. Yep.
Yes, I'm gonna totally sit down and watch it. For that alone, though. Again, I wasn't really a big fan of the trailer. I thought the trailer was in this way, but I am looking forward to see how they're going to work the character into the MCU finally. So, yeah, that's my real take on Miss Marvel, though. But I think it's interesting. How about that? I mean, what? Let me ask you a question. So first of all, I'll ask you this question: what did you think about the trailer? And second of all, how do you feel about the power change? Not MCU kind of following the comic book origins of the character.
All right, let me go at this here. The trailer itself didn't grab me initially. With all the animated little bubbles and the 80s music track and the
which wasn't it was the weekend, but it was actually played by the weekend.
Sorry.
Yeah. But I thought the bubble stuff was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it wasn't what I was expecting out of one of the superhero movies. Mm-hmm. But when you realize that, okay, this is just a high school teenage girl, you kind of get like a sense of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, I did get get a sense of that through the trailer. Yes.
But then the trailer itself kind of has like 3 phases to it. So you have that initial phase where you have the Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Then you kind of have this middle phase of the fangirl side of her.
Yeah.
And then comes the newest hero coming out of Jersey City part. So once we got to the second and the third phases of them, I was more into the trailer. Like I've been saying, this is one of the series that I've been more excited for and looking forward to. So knowing that I don't have to wait long till June 8th for it to come out, I am stoked.
And isn't and Obi-Wan will be still going on at that same time, right?
Yeah. I was thinking Obi-Wan would be done, but no, because if Obi-Wan is 6 episodes and that, it's only May 25th.
Yeah.
Unless Isaac, and that no one has said this, but now that we're trying to do the math, what if? And I would have to look at a calendar here. Let me pull up a little calendar here. May 25th to June 8th. No, it still doesn't work out. I was going to say, what if they drop 2 episodes of Kenobi on the 25th.
Maybe. That'd be interesting.
But we would still go a week past the 8th.
Yeah. That is kind of weird because usually that's not Disney Plus strategy. Normally they would kind of let Star Wars and they would let things kind of overlap a little bit. But
right, you let one run its course to bring out the other one, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that is kind of strange.
Yeah. And we still haven't gotten the Thor trailer yet, which you have to feel will be dropping soon, right? I mean, that's also
my guess is, well, yeah, it will probably come out.
Probably April.
Did I hear something about when it was coming out for? Oh,
next month, right?
We may be getting it this weekend.
Really?
Okay. I could be. What I heard is that there's a chance. It may not actually happen, but there's a chance that it will be coming out for during the Oscars. Because the Oscars are on ABC.
That makes sense.
So that is one possibility. The other possibility is they do not want to drop this before Multiverse of Madness to not interfere with the focus.
Yeah.
So it may be something that comes out right around Multiverse. So May. Thor is due out in refresh my memory.
Thor's the movie should be coming out in July, somewhere in July.
So if you put it out in May, that may work.
But you also have to remember the toy line is going to be relaunching soon. So
true.
They want to make sure that everything kind of lines up properly before then. But anyway, going back to Ms. Marvel. No, I'm looking forward to the series, man. I'm totally looking forward to still looking forward to the series. Wasn't really impressed by the trailer. Hopefully the next trailer will be a lot more better moving forward, which kind of explains more of the story. This was more like a teaser of a lot of things happening and trying to get people excited. Hopefully the next trailer really kind of shows
I would assume so.
Abilities and stuff like that.
I would assume so, because from the trailers that we've been shown so far, typically you will get kind of a know-nothing trailer, a trailer that shows you 2 minutes of absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get you, okay, this is real and this is happening. And then you'll get a trailer that gives you a little bit more and some different footage and some different angles.
I think they always do. I think they'll release a like this was again a teaser trailer, and then they'll release more of a trailer that kind of focuses on story. This is a plot. This one
more actually more introducing Kamala as the character and a little more about her.
Yeah, and hopefully get a chance to see more of those powers.
You asked me about my take on the powers. Yeah. I was a little surprised. About it. Jim Hill mentioned that there was kind of a reasoning behind that, and it's twofold, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it. The first one being that we know that there's the Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel sequel coming out, the Marvels, and it's going to be Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala.
Yeah.
Each character is getting its own color palette, so that way in battle scenes and stuff, you will know who is who.
Which is true. Yes. No, continue, because I was actually gonna.
Then there's the second part to it, which actually makes even more sense. We know the Fantastic Four movie's coming out soon. So, Mr. Fantastic, what's his powers?
It's stretchy, but I get that. Personally, I think that's a bit of a weird cop out that you couldn't really do. Let Kamala kind of have her powers, although she'll still probably be able to do the whole big thing with the cosmic style. But to me, I thought that was just a weird cop out. I know that's the biggest one being thrown out there.
Yeah.
But with the cosmic powers, here's the thing about that too, because we understand it makes it makes sense with Carol Danvers' character, Captain Marvel, gets her cosmic powers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can almost connect that maybe because she gets the Tesseract. Was it the Tesseract or was it something else that powered that ship when she shot it and it just split, hit her with cosmic energy that turned her to Miss.
I think it was the Tesseract, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Tesseract that was powering the machine that hit her with all that cosmic energy. Like, that makes sense because at least those could be tied in the bands and the Tesseract could be tied to whatever is wherever this power is coming from. However, Monica Rambeau's doesn't really make that much sense because, again, her power were generated from the hex created from Wanda that she went through. She went into WandaVision, and that's how she'd end up getting her powers. And those have no tie. Those are not cosmic. Those are more magic than cosmic.
Right, because they're starting to move Scarlet Witch's powers away from, because she got the powers from the Mind Stone.
So far from the Mind Stone, but the episode
now is rewriting that a little bit to say that she had the powers already and the Mind Stone enhanced them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where we are with that. And there you have it, a letter opener.
But yeah, and usually I guess that's the best way you could. I guess that's the way that you can explain that because, yeah, for the long she probably had enhanced it. Maybe that's the best way you can explain it. All of them did come. Monica Rambeau got her powers through WandaVision as eclipse to her being enhanced by the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Wow. But so maybe she doesn't get the full extent of it. I mean, I guess that would be their cop-out answer to trying to rationalize Rambeau, making sense on Rambeau's end, and then the Marvels, while Carol Danvers got the full blast of it, and then Kamala Khan is given like a small taste of it through the controlling of a band. So.
Right. It's like we don't know from this little clip that they showed us. We don't know anything about this gauntlet of whose is it, where did it come from, how does it have these powers. You were mentioning before about the Inhumans. It is something that, as far as the MCU, has never really touched on.
Mm-hmm.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did.
Yes.
And so that's you can find out more about it from there.
Yeah.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. There was one point about the when the who are the characters in the original Avenger movie?
Like the Avengers, like
the bad guys that they fought that came out of the portal.
The bad. It was the aliens.
Chikari.
Chikari, yeah.
Yeah.
That's led by Loki.
Yeah, that they left technology and stuff behind.
Yeah.
That was something like, is this something like in that case, but now probably coming? Well, we do have the Kree on Earth, so is that something that one of the Kree characters left behind? It was some, the way that it interacts with a human is a lot different than it interact with a Kree.
Mm-hmm.
We won't know until we actually see the series, most likely. I'm not getting too caught up on that. I think her new powers look pretty cool. It gives her a little more oomph, besides someone that can, stretch and get really big. It gives her a little more pizzazz. It gives her a little more emphasis. Makes her flashier for the screen. is that, the best excuse of why to make her powers different than what they are in the comic book?
Mhm.
No, but it's not a character that I've followed closely because she came out after I mean, I mostly read X-Men comics, and then life happens, and I didn't read quite as many as I used to. So I don't know so much of her character from the comics. I know her from the Avengers game, and fell in love with her character in the Avengers video game that most people hated.
Yeah.
So to see her again, to get a character from New Jersey, you're always happy, because usually they try and bash New Jersey left and right when they can.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I'm so down for this character,
Yeah.
But no, again, I'm looking forward to how they're gonna handle this character. And I think another thing too, I know that how people think about it, I think it's great that you're seeing more diversity within a character like Kamala Khan, and we'll get to see more of a Pakistani. You're bringing in a Pakistani character.
Oh, I think that's brilliant.
I think that's really amazing. You get to kind of see, because they're and you have to give kind of credit. You have to kind of applaud Disney. Depending, even though whatever you feel like maybe it is a marketing employee, because again, diversity does sell. You have to champion what Disney is doing. If Disney is doing it, at least they're putting money behind it, and they're going to push it. So you have to give amazing props to Disney on that end.
Well, right, because you're not even just you're getting this series, but you already know that she's coming out. She's going to be in a movie too.
Of course.
So this is a character that they are running with for the time being. They announced that they're coming out with the Ironheart series.
Yeah.
And
which she will make her debut in the sequel to Black Panther, Wakanda, whenever that movie comes out.
This year, isn't it?
End of this year? I'm pretty sure. I believe so.
It's like November, December this year.
Yep.
So that's exciting. As far as changing origin stories, I mean, they did change Kate Bishop's origin story.
Yeah.
So that's it's kind of par for the course. You figure that a lot of the Avenger characters, they've don't follow the exact origin story that we have in the comic books. So needless to say, a lot of good things coming our way in the Disney Plus realm.
I agree.
And between Marvel and Star Wars and Marvel, and we shall see what's what with all this stuff and how they work out this scheduling stuff.
Yeah.
But out of the three of them, I think Ms. Marvel's the one that I am most excited about until I find out more about Daredevil. Awesome. Which I'm still working my way through that the original Netflix stuff. And now I can do it on Disney Plus.
God. I like it.
All right, Isaac, thank you again for joining us.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure having.
The pleasure's all ours.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Isaac, for joining us, and thank you, listener, for joining in as well. Let us know your thoughts on any or all these topics. Join the conversation on our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Disney Marvels Podcast, on Instagram at Disney Marvels Podcast, TikTok at Disney Marvels Podcast, and on the Twitter at Disney Marvels. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can also catch the audio feed from each episode on there. Most of the episodes, most recent episodes. and also some other content that I've been putting up there recently. You can leave us a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record your message electronically and email it to DisneyMarvels@gmail.com. Also, please send us, if you want to hear your topic discussed on the show, contact us at one of the above places or email us at that same address, any questions or suggestions you may have for the show. Don't forget to check out the latest Disney Marvels blog at disneymarvels.blogspot.com. Links to all these are in the show notes. I know how little time everyone has and how crazy life is, especially these days with all the unfortunate things going on in the world. These are troubled times. But the highlight for me is the time that we get to spend together each week in discussing some or a number of things that we have in common that we like. And it really means a lot to me. It means to all of us over here at the Disney Marvels team, all the co-hosts and myself, when we hear from you and we hear how much you enjoyed an episode, or you look forward to the next episode, or you get involved in the surveys. Also, share out on the social network and make sure to tag us when you share out the episodes. This way we can like it and comment as well. And thank you for taking the time to share our work with your friends. Also, while you're at it though, go on to Apple Podcast or Stitcher and leave us a review on there. Currently on Apple Podcast, we have all 5-star reviews, and we wouldn't mind getting more 5-star reviews. Please keep them coming. The more reviews that we get, the more likely they're going to promote our show and get more people. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to our show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted, because I haven't been able to get them out on a regular schedule. I'll be working on that as well, or attempting to in the coming weeks. While you're at it, also consider becoming a premium subscriber. Really help the show out. You could do this over at anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support, or find our Patreon page and sign up there and get some cool stuff. We get either of those really going, and we'll get you some private episodes as well that the subscribers will get in addition to the regular shows. You can also check out the Disney merch shop and get yourself some cool Disney Marvel swag and gear and stuff. We've got lots of cool pillows and mugs and different things over there, in addition to hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, baby clothes, and more. Support your favorite podcast and get some cool stuff while you're at it. You can find links to all these in the show notes as well, because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. In Japan, broken objects are often repaired with gold. The flaws is seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this when you're feeling broken. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote, of course, from Walt Disney. Fable animals are not real animals. They are human beings in the guise of birds and beasts. From the earliest beginnings, as his cave drawings eloquently assisted, man has been telling many of these experiences in dramatic conclusions and comments through animal symbols. Again, that's Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everybody, and I'll see you next time.